Hello and welcome to a modern cube draft. This is my first draft of this cube since it's been released on Magic Online in September. So we're going to check out this pack and take it for a spin. So cube, unlike other formats, is much more, I think, about sort of personal preference than it is about like theoretically correct or incorrect picks, because all the cards are powerful, and though I think this cube more than others is going to be more about like good cards rather than archetypes. So here I think Consecrated Sphinx is the best option for us. This is one of the best finishes in the game, and just like is a house of card advantage that you can't really argue with. So I'm going to grab this here. There's a couple blue cards in the pack, not like super exciting ones, so I'm not like quote unquote passing a blue signal, though signals that get sent or received in cube are a lot tougher to read because the packs are not collated as they are in regular limited. So we're going to grab the Sphinx and see where it takes us. So if we stick with blue cards here, the options that we have are Clever Impersonator, which is a clone, but it can be a clone of anything. So it could be a Planeswalker or an artifact or anything like that, a non-land permanent. So powerful, because I think Planeswalkers are probably some of the most powerful things you can do in this cube. There's also Nimble Obstructionist and Wake Thrasher, which are less exciting picks. I think Obstructionist goes in sort of the aggro tempo blue deck that can, I think, either be like blue-white or maybe blue-green. I'm not sure. Blue-red maybe. The things I'm looking at that I'm pretty excited by are the two green cards. Noble Hierarch is probably one of the best one-drops in the format. And green ramp. The Exalted Trigger is sometimes relevant, and the fact that it can tap for 3 colors of mana is pretty great. And Oracle of Moldiah is also a fantastic card draw engine. These two cards are really close for me, but I think I'm actually going to take the Hierarch. Your 4-drop slot gets really clogged in cube, so I'm much more, I think when in doubt, I'm going to take the cheaper card here. Oh wow, this is very interesting, I think. So Lotus Cobra is another fantastic ramper. It's very, very good with fetch lands because of its landfall ability, right? So it has an ability to give you an extra color of mana for a land coming into play. So that's going to trigger off of your lands, and then also any fetch lands are going to produce 2 extra mana for you. So this is a really, really good ramper. Phyrexian Metamorph is, I think, one of the most flexible cards in the cube. But as I said, there are a lot of clone effects. And this is very powerful, can be colorless. But we are going to probably try and be blue. But I think I'm going to take this as a signal that the green ramp deck might be open. Just going like Hierarch into Lotus Cobra is pretty nice to sort of cut that off and maybe carve that out for us. I'm not sure, like, it's day 1 of the cube being online, so I don't know what people are trying to draft, if maybe they're just getting super excited about the aggro decks or whatever. So, but I'm going to grab this Cobra here. I think Metamorph might be correct, but we'll see. Oh, baby. Oh, baby, we're doing it. So Garruk Wildspeaker is, again, just a fantastic card in the green ramp deck. Probably the best green Planeswalker in cube. The Untap 2 lands ability is great. The Create a Beast ability is great. And the Overrun ability for -4 just sort of wins games out of nowhere. It's a really, really fantastic card. If Wildspeaker weren't here, I'd consider this green-blue land, because I am pretty interested in still trying to play the Sphinx, though a mono-green deck is totally possible. I think Duskwatch Recruiter is also very good and probably pretty underrated in this cube. But the thing that green ramp decks often need is a way to get card advantage late game, mid game, just because they're often like vomiting out these rampers early, and then if you don't have a fatty to stick to the board, you need a way to then dig through your library some more. But I'm going to take the Wildspeaker here, and hopefully we can wheel like the Hinterland Harbor, the Nykthos, or the Duskwatch Recruiter. Okie dokie. Well, I would love to just like cement myself in green-blue. It's one of my favorite archetypes in the format. Bloom Tender's okay, but in a mono green deck, it's really just going to be a 1 and a green for. So this taps for each color among permanents you control. You add 1 mana of that color to your mana pool. So it's really not great in a mono green deck or a near mono green deck, because it's really probably just going to tap for 2 or 1 color of mana. Nest Invader is also kind of fine as an early drop. Star Compass, pretty good as one of the few mana rocks in the cube. Enters the battlefield tapped and adds a mana pool, or adds 1 mana to your mana pool of any color that a basic land you control could produce. So sort of doubles what other basic lands you control can do. I also think Verdant Catacombs is not a terrible pick here. A green fetch land is good. Fetch lands with Lotus Cobra is great. Opens up future splashes, but Muldrifter is just a really, really decent card in all senses. All right, so Reclamation Sage is pretty good. I'm not really sure like what kinds of artifacts and enchantments you're like dying to blow up. I know there are swords milling around, so that might be worth taking. Ancestral Vision is like pretty good card draw, but we've already got Muldrifter and Sphinx, and if you don't have this in the first few turns, it can be a pretty dead card. It's not really the kind of card advantage you want in a green ramp deck, because like you top deck that and then you have to wait 3 extra turns for it. Curator of Mysteries is like pretty good, but I think that might just be because I'm coming off of Hour of Devastation and Amonkhet drafts ad nauseum. I'm going to grab this Reclamation Sage. I'm not sure if it's worth main decking or not, but I'll stick it in the main deck for now. See, this is a little ridiculous. So like Bitter Blossom is a fantastic card. I'm not sure what the payoffs are in the cube for it. Like, is there a black aggro deck, or is there... It's probably great in a black-white go-wide deck for sure. I think Harvester is pretty good. Nice to be able to crew it with our elves, so it gives our elves a thing to do later in the game. Maloku is also great, and it's a combo with the Oracle of Moldiah that we passed. So like Oracle of Moldiah lets you play 2 lands per turn, and this so that you can basically just like tap, activate this, and make an illusion, get it back, get that land back. So I'm gonna grab Search though. It's another green ramp card. Gonna just stick to my guns here and get rewarded here, and really lets me think that green ramp is open with getting an Avenger of Zendikar 8th. This is one of the best payoffs for this strategy, if not the best payoff in terms of a top end on color bomb. So Avenger of Zendikar is a 7 mana 5/5, makes some plant tokens when it comes into play equal to the number of lands you have, and then has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a +1/+1 counter on each of those plants. So really is sort of an army in a can on its own. So both blue cards from our first pack wheeled, so that's interesting to note. There's also Harmonize, and if we just go mono green, we're definitely going to want Harmonize, and even if we don't, we probably still want it. Vraska's like pretty meh as far as a Planeswalker goes. It's generally just like a destroy target non-land permanent and then gain some life because people are attacking into it. Interesting that there's some wraths floating around, right? We saw Blasphemous Act, we saw Damnation in this pack. But I'm going to take Harmonize over Negate, Departure, and Precursor Golem. Wow, blue is open. Again, both these blue cards coming around. Okay, I'll take Clever Impersonator over Spell Queller. And we got a Fetid Pools, a Careful Consideration, and an Anticipate. I'll grab Anticipate over Careful Consideration. Again, what did I say about your 4-drop slot gets clogged? It sure does. Oh my god. Tamiyo. So, green cards that were in this pack that I thought might wheel, I don't remember. But Nykthos was among the cards that I was thinking might wheel. Oh, Duskwatch Recruiter, so that's gone. Rune Snag is basically a miscalculation, 1 in a blue counter, but I'm not trying to counter stuff, but I do like ramping into a Tamiyo. I guess I'll take Nightfell Spectre. I don't anticipate playing it. Delver, I don't anticipate playing. I don't anticipate anyone playing Delver. And a Cone of Flame, huh? Well, that's a pretty good pack for us, I'd say. We can definitely prioritize lands this pack if we want to, but being 2 colors, we don't really need to. Things that might be on the chopping block at the moment, like Rec Sage and Harmonize, are not necessarily things I need to be main decking. I've already got a lot of card advantage, but I don't hate having the Anticipate. We're really looking for the 1 and the 2-drop rampers. And so Farseek really fits that bill. There's a Victim of Night at the bottom here. Farseek definitely fits that bill as a sort of rampant growth impersonator. And Remand is another great card, though I don't think we're going the counterspell route with this deck. So like these effects get better in multiples when you are passing with mana up, being able to do different things, whether that's having a bunch of counterspells, but a lot of our stuff is not really doing that. We're sticking permanence on our turn and really tapping out and taking advantage of that. Glenalendra, however, is a fantastic card. One of the best blue cards, I think. Easily splashed, depending on how deep we go on blue, though it's looking like we are going to be pretty firmly blue-green. But Glenelendra just being two negates on a stick is really tough for your opponent to deal with. So I'm going to grab that. And really cool with stuff like Clever Impersonator or other clone effects that we get, because this can like copy Glenelendra once and then we can counter something and then it comes back and it can recopy something with that counter. Oh my goodness. So many options here. We've got a Frost Titan, another fantastic finisher. There's Nissa Voice of Zendikar, which is kind of cute that it can create plant tokens that go with Avenger. I mean, just a 3-mana planeswalker that's kind of good. Puts counters on each creature you control with its minus effect. It's also Compulsive Research, another great card draw spell, and a Windswept Heath. Now we have Lotus Cobra and Avenger that care about landfall, so I'm eyeing this Windswept Heath pretty heavily. I think we're going to make playables. So taking lands when you like know you're going to have enough good cards is, I think, pretty much where you want to be at. Like, I think that's a big threshold in Cube, is when do you take lands? And I think just being able to have these smooth out your draws or turn on grabbing a breeding pool or other dual land in the future is going to be good. So I'm actually going to grab this here and assume that we're going to wheel one of these powerful cards. If Elves of Deep Shadow was a mana dork that tapped for wow, this pack is insane. I'm just having trouble finishing my thought. If Elves of Deep Shadow was a mana dork that tapped for green or blue, I would definitely take that there, but I think Heath is just fine. I'm going to want some number of fetch lands. This pack is incredible for us. Shelldock Isle, again, if we think that fetch lands are good slots, how about a land that is also a spell? So Shelldock Isle comes into play tapped. You look at 4 cards. You get to exile one of them under it, and then you can play it for 1 blue mana when a player has 20 or less cards in their library. Sorry, 20 or fewer cards in their library. So this is a really good card, especially with things like Sphinx, Mulldrifter, and Anticipate. They're going to get us to dig through our deck. Prophet of Kruphix is also a really, really good card. I'm kind of hoping it wheels, considering how open blue was, but we'll see. I'm just not going to pass up Shelldock Isle. It's, again, a free spell attached to a land, so can't go wrong there. What have we here? There's a Torrential Gearhulk. There's a Vivid Grove. Oh, there's Vivid Land. So these come into play with 2 charge counters on it. Comes into play tapped. It can tap for a green mana or use one of those charge counters to tap for any color. Treetop Village is another. It's like this is a spell that's also a land, but we're not trying to beat down with our land as a 3/3. So that's not really catching my eye here. Torrential Gearhulk is nice, but we don't have a ton of instants to get back. Currently only have Anticipate. I'm going to grab this Rattleclaw Mystic. It's a mana dork and can also do some pretty sweet ramp stuff of like play a 1-drop, play this as a morph, and then unmorph it on turn 3 and be able to cast Sphinx off of it or something. So I'm going to grab Mystic here. Alright, this is a pretty easy Arbor Elf in my opinion. A lot of good cards here. Vizier of Many Faces, again, a lot of clone effects here. This one can embalm, as we all know from Amonkhet. Cold Steel Heart, one of the few mana rocks, be very good, and we might actually take it. It's Cold Steel Heart and Everflowing Chalice, which scales with the game. You can play this as a 1 mana rock for 2 or a 2 mana rock for 4, etc. And then some like aggro green cards with Vengevine and some more narrow / not good cards with Enclave Cryptologist and Baral. But we're just going to grab this Arbor Elf here. Some mid-rangey green cards with Gearhulk and Pelucranos. There's Serum Visions, which is just nice, like filtering cantrippy, right? 1 blue mana to draw a card and scry 2. Frostlinks is not the kind of thing that I want in this deck. It's more tempo-y. It's 2 and a blue for a 2/2 that then like taps something down, doesn't untap for a turn. I think my pick here might surprise some people. I'm actually going to take Beast Within. So the problem that green-blue often has is like dealing with some threats. Like maybe you can counter something, maybe you're just like attacking into it or tempoing people out somehow or ramping into bigger stuff. But maybe they stick a threat that you have a really tough time dealing with, and Beast Within is sort of a catch-all for those. So I'm going to pick that up here. There's an Evolving Wilds, which I don't hate as another fetch land effect for Lotus Cobra and Avenger. The other option is like Commit to Memory, Temporal Mastery, or Looter Ilcore. I already feel like we've got some card draw effects that I don't need to grab this looter. The looters are pretty good, but I'm just going to grab wilds. Again, if we can grab a land, let's do it. Alright. Tooth and Nail is good, though I don't think our ramp is like crazy, and there are things that we're like finding to ramp into are also not insane. They're just like going to be fine to play on curve rather than to like play this for 9 mana and drop a couple things. I think Master of the Wild Hunt is a really tough card for people to deal with, and it's a good 4-drop for us. And I like it over Spell Pierce. I think it's a little more proactive than reactive, and I think that's what this deck wants to be. So I'm going to drop that Master right on in there. Nothing here for us really. Yeah, this is a pretty big whiff in terms of what's wheeling. We'll take a Perilous Mirror. Maybe we need to side that in. Alright, so what came around for us here? Scattered Groves can be found with our Windswept Heath. Not that that's super relevant, but it does also cycle, which is nice. Compulsive Research is really good card draw. Like, really good. So I think I'm just going to snap that up here. Could, like, not play Rexage main. It's looking like we're high on playables. Oh, man. I thought that Prophet of Krufix might come around. Might come around. Alright, we'll grab Sheltered Thicket. Nice cycling land for us here. I forgot that these were both... These were mountain forests. These were fetchable lands. I forgot about that. Sure. Spiketail Drakeling. No balance for Gargadon. There's Wildfire and Wrath, so you can build that deck, but much less good. Wow, and we get a Vizier back. Okay. Alright, so I think we're really just trying to prioritize 1 mana and 2 mana rampers in this last pack. I think we've got good mid-rangey bombs. I think we've got some good late game. We've got tons of card advantage. Removal too would be nice. Like a control magic effect, I think would be pretty good for us. But these clones are going to do a pretty good job of that. So we'll see. Teferi and Frostlinks. I feel like we might, like, the thing that I'm scared about is facing aggressive decks, so I'm happy to pick up a Frostlinks to side that in against some aggro matchups. Man, I'm so excited about Cube. Cube is fun, man. Just blue-green rampy good stuff. See if it's good enough. Grab a Pride Mage last, and that's really not a bad card to side in if we feel like Reclamation Sage isn't doing enough. It's Rake Haven, that's right. I forgot that that was in here. Let's see what's on the bottom. This is Porcelain Legionnaire, so that's just an aggro card, not something we're considering here. Ashiok is really good. I'm wondering if we can splash for it effectively. Lotus Cobra helps fix us for black. We could just play a swamp off of Search for Tomorrow and Evolving Wilds and slot it in there. I mean, is that worth it? What else are we taking if we're not taking Ashiok here? Wooded Foothills, probably, because Snapcaster Mage is not doing a ton for us in this deck. Yeah, I think I like taking Splashiok here. Card is very powerful, and if you can stick it early, it's a real house. Might wheel something. And Mayor of Avabruck and Strangleroot guys are not where I want to be. Una's certainly a bomb, but tough to cast. I think I like Ashiok here. And here, pretty easy Derogatory Speaker. This is the best. It's like sort of called the Green Soul Ring because it's a 1 mana effect that can tap for 2 mana. So it takes a turn to level up to be able to tap for 2 green. So usually what happens is you play turn 1 and then turn 2 you level it up and then play some 2-drop, and then on turn 3 you're able to tap for 5 mana. So it's generally like a must kill for your opponent. Really sucks to pass Misty Rainforest here, but what can you do? I think our mana base is going to be just fine. So I'm just going to grab this Tree Speaker and move on with my life. Okay, so in consideration for us, because there's a bunch of very good red cards here. I guess not a bunch of very good red cards, just Wildfire and Shrine of Burning Rage. There's a Viridian Emissary, which is really not the kind of ramp that we want, right? It's when it dies, you can find a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped. That's not what we want to do. There's Scalding Tarn, which could just be a blue. Oh, actually, Scalding Tarn fixes for both colors of mana, doesn't it? Okay, great. It's a fetch land. That helps fix us for blue and green. So it can find an island, or it can find this because it finds a mountain. So let's do that. That seems just fine to me. Interesting. All right, so in green-blue, we've got Hallowed Fountain, which is sort of serves the opposite purpose for Windswept Heath, is that it is a blue source that Windswept Heath can find. So that's a consideration, sort of. There's Kitchen Finks, which is main deck life gain, which is, I think, also a consideration against aggressive decks. We don't have any life gain right now, which is kind of a bummer. But I think Tireless Tracker is actually pretty awesome, especially with the 3 crack lands, fetch lands that we have. I'm going to grab that here. I think Kier is also kind of nice as a umbrella for your whole team. It sort of makes every first targeted effect not work. But I think I like Tireless Tracker a little better here. I think it's more synergizes with what we've got going on. But I think I wouldn't fault you for taking a Hallowed Fountain there just to make your mana base pretty sweet. Again, we'd be happy with a couple more Rampers because I think our card draw is so good, and I think our bombs are there too. What the heck is this doing in here? That's embarrassing, folks. Come on. Bloodwater Entity? Jesus. All right, we're just going to grab Avacyn's Pilgrim. Yeah, it doesn't tap for blue, green, or black, but it is a 1-mana dork, so I'm going to grab it here. I'm curious about this deck. Definitely feels like it was, and one of the archetypes open to us. I think I've got a lot of the pieces for it. Really happy about grabbing that Beast Within. Going to need to be aware of not firing this off too haphazardly against certain opponents. Saving it for their haymakers is really going to be necessary. But I think we've got good effects for the aggro matchups. I think we've got some good late game finishers. Alrighty, what have we got here? Yavimaya Coast can tap for both blue and green, which is nice. Hedron Archive, more ramp. Not really what I want, another 4-drop. What is Trophy Mage? Oh, finds an artifact that's exactly 3 mana. No thank you. Don't have any of those. And there is Mirror Battlesphere, which is a really good finisher, and we might just want to take this as one more top end. How much ramp do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think we can afford to have one more 7-drop rather than taking Yavimaya Coast. So I'm going to grab that here. I like these little army in a can cards. They're really, really nice coming out of the gate. Ooh, Sword of War and Peace, huh? Can I have that Trophy Mage back? Probably just want to take Jace. Do I actually want to take Jace? I think I might just want this sword. Having protection from the 2 aggressive decks is pretty good. And being able to suit up one of these things and also give myself some life gain. I don't know. I kind of like this over Jace. I've got card draw. Yeah, I'm going to go Jace here. Or go sword here over Jace. And ooh, Imprisoned in the Moon is another catch-all removal spell, much like Beast Within. So we're probably just going to grab this. And maybe we can let the Ashiok Dream die. I think we'll see what our mana base looks like, but maybe we just cut Anticipate, something like Anticipate. Maybe that's what we do. Yeah. Okay, that could be better. Imprisoned in the Moon is great. Rishkar, Pima Renegade, not great. In green, a lot of your creatures are already tapping for mana, so its ability isn't that relevant. And I like Den Protector. I like having a regrowth effect in the deck, but that catch-all removal is so necessito. Drakehaven, huh? Drakehaven works with what? Compulsive Research? I don't know. Nothing else? We've got 1 cycling land? Come on. What is that doing in here? Snapcaster Mage, Una, Strangleroot Geist. Again, we're not playing Snapcaster Mage in this deck. I think Geist might be like the card we would actually side in against some people. Ether Adept, again, for the same reason. We've already got Rex Sage and Pride Mage if we want to bring in some sort of artifact or enchantment hate. Disallow versus nothing else that we would ever play, I guess. So I'll take the on-color card, but I think this is probably the 23 that we're going to run. And yeah, I am on playing 17 lands here with the fact that we've got, and we get to grab a Hallowed Fountain here to make Windswept Heath be able to find blue and green, which is nice, over the Kira. Let's grab another land here. Yeah. We've got enough card draw that I think, Into the Royal. Into the Royal's not bad. Oh, we get that Trophy Mage. Ooh, maybe I just want Wandering Death. Yeah, I'm going to take Wandering Death. A little homage to one of my favorite Amonkhet cards in Limited. Alright, what is the mana base going to look like here? It's pretty dang good. Pretty dang good looking here. We can, I think, afford to just run that one swamp and find it fairly easily. Though one of Ashiok's most powerful one of the things that is most powerful about Ashiok is that it can come down on turn 3, which splashing it doesn't generally lend itself to doing that. But anyway, all right, so let's check out our green sources. We've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 green sources, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blue sources. So I think we definitely want to switch that to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 green, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blue. 1 black. Yeah, seems good to me. I'm going to save this, and I will see you all for round 1.